Hello everybody, welcome to my new Sunday market breakdown. So let's start with these two pairs where I'm looking at for this week, AUDUSD and NZDJPY. So we'll start with AUDUSD. So what can we see? If we look on a daily chart, we can see we are clearly in a bearish trend. So if I take this thing and I drew this pattern, you have here your first leg, second leg, third leg, fourth leg, you have your bearish W. Then we receive the same lows. So we expect the same highs, which we did. So we had a small false break of these highs here. That was because also these wicks, why they came till this zone. Because on the weekly, we had here some weekly first point of structure where the institutes can take some liquidity for more downside momentum to take the retail traders out. So that's why we went back to the upside and then here took some sellers over and we went down. So this natural W fake out can play out. So then I went till the weekly. What can you see on the weekly? On the weekly, you can see your candle close is with you because my wick, it came all the way back to the upside and it closed all the way in the middle, more than the middle down. So if the candle closes more to the downside than the wick, more than the half, then I will count it as a bearish candle. So I also put it here in horizontal line, and you can see this was our first point of structure here, which was support, which became resistance. And then you can see here also this kind of resistance wicks that triggered the sellers to the downside. And if you look further, this was also a nice support and resistance zone here. So it's a clear supply and demand zone. So then on the daily chart, was this the natural W? Fake out for more downside momentum. We have already retraced candle to the downside. Then we go to the 4-hour. And on the 4-hour, what can we see? We can see that we have here a potential shoulder one here, this head, and then here the shoulder one, shoulder two, sorry. So we can have already a nice correction to the upside to tap the shoulder one region. We have already a retraced candle, blue candle, which is indicating the bulls are coming in because we have here this major zone here. We have here a major zone, this sitting in the way. As you can see, this was acting like clear support. And what we can see, this is acting like clear support. What it did, we went to the upside till this shoulder one region, and then we went all the way back to the downside for a potential daily TP hit, which we can have also. So we went up from this zone till this for our shoulder one, which we can also do here, and we can have a sell-off from that point till the -27 here, or the -27 of the daily. So this can potentially play out. So I will delete that. And what I could also see on the 4-hour chart on my shoulder one zone, I can see we have a nice supply momentum on the 4-hour. If you look closely, you have here some support wicks. You have here a resistance wicks, very nice resistance here to the downside. Then you have here the resistance with the false break of this high. And then here resistance again, resistance wicks, some small support wick, a lot of false breaks in the zones. If you can see, these are all false breaks from this high. So a lot of false breaks there. So for me, this is the clearest 4-hour supply and demand zone for me. So what I expect is the price to come back then, correction or impulse, sellers kicking in from this point, stop loss above the head, and we can go to the 4-hour -27 for around 2%, and then the daily TP will be around 4%. Yeah, like 4%, something like that. So this was AUDUSD, then NZDJPY. If I go to the daily chart, so what can you see on NZDJPY? On NZDJPY, we have a pattern within a pattern. So we have here our potential shoulder one here, head, shoulder 2, which is already playing out because we had that liquidity from that daily zone, daily supply and momentum with that shoulder 1 that already got triggered. And we have that bullish M that is already in play. The only thing we need to be careful for is right now, this daily highs just didn't tap. This daily white zone just didn't tap. So if it taps it, we need to have a pattern reset back till this daily zone. So that's the thing I'm waiting for. We have here this descending trend line that was holding the price down. We broke out of it, which is a nice indication. We are also in that major correction. The daily is still bearish because we had here our high and this is our new low here. So we are still major bearish, but we had here also same lows. So we can also expect here same highs. So this is potentially possible. So then I went to the weekly. And what can you see on the weekly? It's on the weekly we have 3 out of 4. The supply and demand zone I counted with us and not against with us and not for us, because if you take here your horizontal line on the weekly, we closed above it. Yes, we have a weekly bullish candle closed that with us. We have here our bullish M on the weekly that is with us, with that fib from this low here till this high is working for us. So that's 2 criteria with us. The supply and demand zone, you can see it like this. So this resistance here, which is here support, here also resistance week, which can become support, which is very nice aligning with the daily zone. If we can come back to this daily zone to tap it again, potentially. And yeah, you can see here also kind of resistance zones, resistance. So it's a clear zone that got well respected. But the thing is, if I put my horizontal line also here on this wick, because why went we there to the downside? There is a reason why we went there a little bit more to the downside, because the sellers got triggered from a point. And which point is that? We have here some major sellers kicking in, enormous impulse, and here we have it also. So that's the reason why there are still some sellers kicking in from that region. And that's why we also came a little bit more back, because the weekly is still bullish, of course, but this selling zone got triggered some institutions to sell some orders, or yeah, some retail traders. So what can we also see from this zone? We have here some clear support and resistance. So the supply and demand zone, I don't really count it with me or against me, because we have 2 zones that is working for us and working against us. So this was actually the latest triggered downside momentum sellers. And then we can potentially have here back again these buyers. So we have 3 out of 4, potentially 4 out of 4 if you count supply and demand zone with you. So now we go to the 4 hour again. We had that pattern on a daily. So what can you see on the 4 hour? You can see that we have a bullish M potentially that can play out. You have your first leg, second leg, your third leg here, fourth leg potentially coming back till this 4 hour supply and demand zone. And I rounded my entry off for around 1 pip, because sometimes you will not get in and it will just shoot to the upside to the 4 hour TP and then till the daily TP. So what can we see also from this zone? We had here some nice trigger from that zone which got support, and we went, yeah, straight up to the upside, really impulsive. So this here also, we went also impulsively to the upside when we acted as support here, resistance. So we have here our supply and demand zone. So I will take my entry there with 1 pip to the upside. You have your ascending trend line from the daily also holding the price up, which is nice. And you have also, yeah, sometimes you can do it also like this. Yeah, it's not an important thing to do. You have your daily trend line, so this is the better one. So this one I'm looking at an AUDUSD. So I hope you liked it, and yeah, see you next week. Have a nice training week, everybody.